The last transmission of the Krellick refugee fleet was not a surrender. It was a final, desperate cry as life support faltered.
We are 3 million. Our ships are dying. Please, if anyone hears this, help us.
Across the fleet, reactors coughed and shields flickered. The refugees had days, not weeks.
After 400 years, is this how it ends? Not in fire, but in silence.
They had begged every major power. The Council refused. The Federated Systems turned them away. Every gate closed.
I am Vrenthal, elder of this fleet. Do not let us vanish without a single voice answering.
Life support ticked lower. The youngest already rasped for oxygen. The fleet drifted, a graveyard waiting. Then, from a small blue planet at the rim of a yellow star, a reply, a frequency no Krellick had ever heard. You are not alone. This is Earth. We hear you. We will take you. Come.
Set course for Sol, by the lost worlds. We are not abandoned.
The battered Krellick fleet limped into Sol. Before them, a blue-white marble hung in the dark, surrounded by a swarm of small ships.
3 million souls, all hoping. After 400 years of war, they're here.
So much water. It looks peaceful. Who are these people who answered when no one else would?
Human escort ships flanked the refugee fleet, guiding them into high orbit. No weapons were trained, only open channels streaming welcome messages.
Krellick Fleet. This is Earth Refugee Coordination. I am Maria. Welcome to Sol. Prepare for landing procedures. We have accommodations waiting.
Maria, a human name. By the ancestors, we never thought we would hear a welcome. Truly, you accept us.
The first shuttles cut through Patagonian clouds, touching down in a wide green valley. Cold wind bit at their cheeks. Real air after years of recycled atmosphere.
Elder Vrenthal, I am Maria. You are safe now. Take my hand. Breathe the air of Earth.
This ground, solid, after so long in metal coffins. Why did only these strangers open their arms? The air smells of mountains and something sweet.
For the first time in 400 years, Vrenthal knelt on soil that wasn't burning. Hope, fragile as a seedling, took root in the cold Patagonian earth. The refugees huddled against the unfamiliar gravity, bones aching. Cold wind sliced through robes, a sharp contrast to the stale ships.
This world weighs on us. But the sky is open, and the air is clean.
You'll adapt. Here, take this. It's called mate, a drink we share to warm the spirit.
Bitter and hot, it fills the chest with a strange comfort. Like their words, it gives without asking.
Maria led the elders through the valley. Shelters dotted the green expanse. Beyond, the Andes rose like silent guardians.
So much space for 3 million. This land will shape us differently.
This valley and others are yours to build and grow. Not charity, a chance to work, to become part of this soil.
A chance, not a gift. A responsibility. So be it.
That evening, in a communal tent, Maria placed a bowl of thick soup before Vrenthal. His first real meal in weeks. He lifted the spoon, hands trembling from exhaustion and cold. The soup was simple, but it tasted of promise. The first Patagonian winter struck without mercy. Snow buried the shelters, and the refugees shivered in wool coats, never meant for their thin frames.
Your language twists the tongue. How can one word mean both love and care and salt?
Because here, salt is what we put in food and what we carry in our hearts. Patience, Elder. Your children are already learning faster.
Together, human and Krellick hands built fences and planted root vegetables. The work was hard, but it left no room for grief.
This soil doesn't yield quickly. It demands a season of waiting. Perhaps the war taught only the opposite.
A grizzled Patagonian rancher taught Vrenthal the rhythm of sheep, how to read their movement, when to be still, when to act.
The flock follows the herder not from fear, but from ease, as though they know no harm is meant.
By the first harvest, the communal tents had become houses with solid walls. Maria watched Vrenthal lift a basket of potatoes, his hands steadier.
A harvest, food from our own hands. The war never let us grow anything but ashes. This is a new thing entirely.
You've earned the winter's rest, Vrenthal. The first year is always the hardest, but you are still here, and so is your people's hope.
3 springs passed. Vrenthal built a stone house on a hill, facing the sun. His hands grew calloused.
I've married. Her name is Sorith. She was a botanist. Here, our garden grows.
The marriage was simple. Just a promise, under an open sky. Their daughter, born on Earth, opened 4 turquoise eyes to Patagonian light.
She will never know the sound of a bombing run. Only wind and the cry of lambs.
The ranchers call her the Little Shepherd. That's acceptance. In time, old whispers fade.
We are neighbors now. The flock knows our voice. The valley accepts us.
Soon, a son was born. He would mount a horse before learning the old tongue.
The war is a whisper, but here, rain falls, grass grows. Enough.
5 years had turned a refugee camp into a village. Vrenthal's farm stood at its heart. The village school opened its doors. Krellic children and human children sat side by side, learning the same poems.
They sing the same songs. In a generation who will remember why we fled.
In the village library, Vrenthal found a human book, the writings of a man who had led a nation without armies.
They may torture my body, break my bones, even kill me. Then they will have my dead body, not my obedience. This is an unstoppable weapon.
In the classroom, a human teacher explained fractions, while Krellic and human children worked together, blind to old divisions.
No factions, just different shades of purple and pink. They don't see old bloodlines. This is the hope.
His son, now a young man, submitted an application to the university's agronomy program, the first Krellic to do so.
He wants to make our land produce more, feed more. For when we go back, or if we stay, he said.
But news from Krellic space crept in, old factions still burning, still killing. The war was a wound that would not close.
The children here are building a world that doesn't exist out there. One day the two will meet. What then?
In the village's 15th year, a generational rift opened. Young Krellics dreamed of Krellic Prime. Elders tended gardens.
I hear your fire, young ones. But if we return with weapons, we become the war again. We must bring the peace we've learned, patience. That is Earth's gift. They waited millennia to build their cities. We can wait a little longer to save our people.
The annual festival blended human guitars with Krellic drums and spices. For a night, the war seemed like a bad dream.
They dance, purple and pink hands intertwined. But tomorrow, some will ask again, when do we go home?
Vrenthal climbed the festival stage. The crowd fell silent beneath the strings of lights.
20 years ago, we came with nothing. Now, we raise grain and children. That is not passivity. It is the foundation of a new world.
Applause rippled, but some younger faces remained troubled. The festival lights couldn't hide the fracture.
I cannot force their hearts, but I can show them that stillness is not weakness.
The celebration faded under a cold Patagonian sky. The question of return hung heavier than the autumn clouds. A Krellic warship cut through the clouds. Not a refugee vessel, a military envoy, sharp and sealed.
I am General Kren. You took our people, the war machine is broken, and we need them back.
They are not yours to take. They are people, not resources.
In the hall, the elders gathered. Maria stood beside Vrenthal, tight with worry.
If we return as victims, we'll be used. I will go as a negotiator, not a returnee.
Irrelevant. We don't need terms. We need bodies to restore our worlds.
Then I cannot go. But let us speak as equals, and we may offer more than you imagine.
You've grown soft. Very well. Come to Krellic Prime. We'll see if your soft words survive.
A door opened, barely, but a door. The flock knows a calm shepherd. Perhaps a general can too, in time. I will go, not as a weapon, but as a witness. Earth taught us another way.
At dawn, Vrenthal packed a small bag. His family did not weep, but their eyes held oceans. They had learned to swallow tears.
Remember this field, the sound of the wind. No war can take that.
Take this, a bag of our soil. When your heart falters, hold it.
This soil gave us roots. I will bring it back, a promise.
You'll come back to us, Vrenthal. The sheep will know your voice.
At the spaceport ramp, the delegation of elders, once refugees, now ambassadors, turned for one last look at the Andes.
20 years. I leave with the calm of a farm at dusk.
The ship rose on a column of light. Earth's curve blew goodbye. Somewhere below, a lamb bleated in the fields. In his cabin, he opened the bag of soil and breathed in Patagonia, rain and new beginnings. Maria stood alone at the landing site, watching until the glint faded. "Bring our way home," she whispered. The ship cut through systems that had once held billions. Now only debris and silence remained.
Every world a graveyard. 400 years of this, and they still call it victory.
In his cabin, Vrenthal opened the pouch of Patagonian soil and began to write terms, not a plea.
Disband the factions. A constitutional federation. Citizenship for all, not servitude to a flag.
Krellick Prime loomed. The capital, a cracked egg of concrete and fire, bled smoke into the void.
Even the cradle is a wound. Enough, I carry soil, not ashes. We step onto that ash not as conquerors, but as gardeners. We will plant.
At the landing bay, General Kren's guards stood like statues. No welcome, only expectation.
The soil of Patagonia is still in my pocket. I am the ground they cannot burn.
The delegation filed out onto the ravaged surface. No flowers, only wind and the hum of a distant front. General Kren's citadel stood like a fist. Black stone, banners of conquest. The delegation climbed to the war room.
We propose a new path. Disband both factions, form a unified constitutional federation. Citizenship for every Krellick, not servitude.
You spent 20 years among soft creatures and forgot what made Krellick strong. Your federation is surrender.
Strength isn't measured by how many you kill, but by how many you can hold without crushing. We learned that from humans.
Preposterous. The factions will never disband. Your words are wind. Weak wind from a weak world.
There, the old rage, so predictable. But I've listened to sheep longer than this. Then we have reached an impasse. However, I will leave my terms here. They are not a weapon, but soil.
Soil? You've gone senile, Elder. Take your paper and your childish hope. We'll do this the Krellick way.
She cannot see it. A seed needs time, not a hammer. Very well.
The negotiation ended in silence. No agreement, no raised voices, just the weight of a 400-year wall. Vrenthal rose, his delegation following. The document remained on the table like an accusation in soil.
Then we have nothing more to say. Our terms will wait for when you are ready to hear them.
Kren's mouth twisted, but no sound came. For the first time, a Krellick had walked away not in defeat, but in refusal to play the game.
That is the power of the herd. You do not have to fight the wolf. You simply deny it the prey it expects.
The ship climbed through the atmosphere, Krellick Prime's wounded crust shrinking below.
I left a crack in their certainty. That is all a seed ever needs.
Vrenthal closed his eyes, and for a moment he felt Patagonian wind on his face, heard the bleat of lambs.
We will go home and wait.
Behind them, the capital's broadcast channels crackled with unauthorized questions. The silence had broken. The ship jumped, leaving a crack in the wall that had held for 400 years. Word of Vrenthal's terms spread through the capital, like water through cracks. For the first time, people read instead of firing.
This nonsense must end. Round up anyone who speaks of Earth's peace. We'll see how soft their resolve is.
Soldiers swept through alleys, sealing gatherings. But the conversations continued in whispers, in kitchens, in the holds of cargo ships. By dawn, a peace symbol, a crude circle, and a sprouting leaf was painted on the base of Kren's statue. No one claimed it.
They dare? The weakling elder's disease is spreading. Fine, we'll burn it out.
In a dusty cafe, two workers shared a hot drink, a strange ritual they called mate. An idea, like steam, curled between them. The gourd passed from hand to hand. More than a drink, a signal. Soon, mate circles sprouted in basements across the capital. Kren doubled the patrols, arrested dozens, but the symbol kept appearing on walls, on screens, even on the steps of the citadel. Fear was their old currency. But these people had seen a shepherd walk away from a general. They began to understand. 6 months passed. The crack in the wall widened, and far away, in a Patagonian valley, Vrenthal felt the tide turning. On a Patagonian hillside, Vrenthal watched the reports spill across his datapad, uprisings, symbols, a people finding their voice.
They need a voice, not a commander, but mine, after leaving them.
You are chewing on something heavy. Is it the news?
They paint leaves on statues, Maria, because of what we did. But they paint in the dark while Kren's boot presses down.
Then give them something to paint in the open. You are not the elder who fled, Vrenthal. You are the one who walked away. They saw you.
He stared into the fire for a long moment. Then, with a slow nod, he rose and crossed to his study.
I need to write. Not a command, but a question. If they want to listen, they will hear Earth in every word.
He pulled a worn copy of Gandhi from the shelf, touching its spine for strength. The words came slowly, then like a river.
I am not asking them to fight. I am asking them to remember the crack in the wall.
He activated the recorder. The Patagonian night pressed against the window. A deep breath. Then, his voice for all Krelix to hear.
My people, you are not forgotten. I speak from a world that taught us peace is not surrender. Remember the crack in the wall.
The signal jumped across light years. On Krellic Prime, screens flickered to life.
We found a home among strangers, not by conquest, but because we carried no swords. You can do the same.
Kren roared orders to jam it, but the message replicated. Home to home, ship to ship.
Disband the factions. Form a federation. Give every child a vote, not a rifle.
In the capital, weeping families embraced. For the first time, they saw a future, not a funeral. Cairn's soldiers tried to tear down the broadcasts, but the people stood in front. A wall of bodies without weapons. The streets filled, not with rage, but with a calm so absolute it shook the citadel. From Patagonia, Vrenthal listened. The crack became a chasm. He touched the pouch of soil. Somewhere across the void, a people were rising, not with weapons, but with his words. A general strike gripped Krellic Prime. Factories fell silent. Ships stayed docked. Soldiers lowered their weapons. Refusing to fire on their own people, they stood aside. The statue of General Kren crashed to the ground. Inside the citadel, she signed her resignation. From the crowds, a chant rose. Send the shepherd elder. Bring Vrenthal home to lead.
They called for me. But I am not a general. I am a farmer.
You are whatever they need. A farmer who walked away from war. That's exactly why they need you.
I left them once. This time, I go not to bargain but to build. My sheep will wait. My family will understand. The flock across the void needs its shepherd.
Then take the soil with you again, and come back when the world is planted.
Vrenthal looked out over his farm, then turned towards the house to pack. He would return, not as a conqueror, but as a servant. The ship touched down on Krellic Prime to a sea of purple faces. Flowers, not weapons, were thrown at the ramp.
I am not here to rule you. I am here to help you build a home, the kind I found on Earth.
the Constitutional Convention opened in the restored Civic Hall. Delegates from every region sat, some suspicious but willing.
We will write a charter that protects the weakest voice. Not the old way of factions, a new way of balance.
For weeks, they argued. Old hatreds flared, but Vrenthal's quiet words and Earth's logic of compromise steered them. Remnant officers tried to storm the hall, but the people, unarmed, formed a ring. The would-be coup dissolved without a drop of blood.
They tried to break the wall, but you are the wall. A wall of bodies, not bullets. This is the Earth way.
The final draft was complete. A constitution that borrowed from human democracies but sang with Krellic spirit.
Today, we bury the war. Not under bombs, but under these words, I sign for every child who never knew peace.
The new Krellic Federation was born. Not in fire, but in ink, and across the void, Maria wept at the news. Millions voted in the first free election. Queues wrapped around blocks, patient and proud.
I never sought this, but if the people ask, I will serve.
He won by a landslide. The war orphan became the shepherd of peace. At the restored Great Hall, under a banner of a circle and leaf, he was sworn in.
I stand not as conqueror, but as servant. I carry Patagonian soil and Earth's patience in my heart. Today, the Krellic Civil War ends. Not by surrender, but by a promise of shared life.
Old powers watched in disbelief. A 4th-century war ended not by fleets, but by a farmer's words. Maria watched in the village hall, tears streaming. She raised her mate gourd in salute. He kept the farm, splitting time between capital and Patagonia, a leader who never forgot soil. The Federation was a living reality now, built on the quietest of rebellions. President Vrenthal addressed the Galactic Assembly. 100 species watched, some with old skepticism.
We did not end our war by winning it. We ended it by forgetting how to wage it.
He held up the pouch of Patagonian soil. The galaxy saw a shepherd, not a conqueror.
This soil taught us patience. This woman, Maria, taught us mercy. Earth gave us a future.
Distant worlds paused. Even the old warlords sat still, struck by the quiet force. In Patagonia, Maria sat alone, her eyes wet. The fire crackled, but her heart was full.
He did it. The shepherd brought the flock home.
The council rose in a standing ovation, not for conquest, but for the quietest of revolutions. Overnight, Earth became synonymous not with power, but with peace, a soft power that toppled empires. The Krellic Civil War was over, and the galaxy understood. The refugees came back changed, and they changed everything. Vrenthal stepped off the shuttle and onto the thin Patagonian grass. His grandchildren ran ahead, laughing.
Grandfather, is it true you walked away from the general?
I did, and she found nothing to fight. That is a kind of victory. They ask about peace as a story, not a memory. That is the gift.
Mate is ready. Come, old friend. The sheep can wait.
They sat on the old bench, the gourd passing between them. Words came slower now, but the silence was full.
The galaxy still talks about your speech. The shepherd who forgot how to war.
They needed a story they could understand. I only told ours.
Look at him. After everything, he still tends the flock. He's home.
The chancellor kept his farm, not as a symbol, but because here in the quiet, he still heard the first lesson. Patience. Decades passed. The farm remained, stone house, grazing sheep, the same patient hills. An elderly Vrenthal stepped onto the grass, leaning on a carved wooden cane. 2 great-grandchildren raced ahead.
Tell us about the old war, grandfather. Did you fight?
No, little one. We walked away. That is the hardest battle. The one you refuse to fight.
Maria, white-haired and fragile, appeared at the farmhouse door. Her eyes still held the warmth of 3 decades.
You've brought the whole flock this time, Vrenthal. Come. The bench still holds us both.
Arm in arm, They walked the old path to the hillside bench. The children chased lambs below.
3 million. Now a federation of billions. And the quiet here is still the same.
You gave them peace, Renthal. Not machinery, not ships. A different way to think.
The afternoon light softened toward evening. Two old friends, an alien and a human, sat in the quiet they had earned. The sun touched the peaks of the Andes, pouring gold across the valley.
Grandfather, what will they remember about us?
They'll remember Earth, that a quiet shepherd ended a war.
That's all. Rest now, old friend.
Maria's hand found his, resting with the weight of shared peace. Vrenthal closed his eyes. The lamb called from the field, and the children's laughter echoed. In his final waking moment, he saw not the war, but the first soil of Patagonia. His 4 turquoise eyes mirrored the dying sun, pools of calm that had once held a fleet together. The shepherd had brought the flock home. Across the void, a billion Krelix lived in peace, and on a Patagonian hillside, as the light finally faded, silence held the promise he had planted.